So this is an infographic that, again, it's I think I relate to it as like an evolutionary timeline of this community and, like I said, all of its forms. So um, Mitty in her fairy tale shared a little bit about the history of Vivero and how it came to be, with Rachel and her visit to Barichara and the inspiration she brought back around a community working together in kind of a mutual commitment for supporting stewardship of our earth. And um, I think that was really well received by the Earth Regenerators community. We had people step up and start to participate and begin leading a circle around the Vivero idea in the mid part of 2022. There were, I would say, periphery conversations going on around um, the spirit of giving and how we could bring technology to giving activities in such a way where it enhanced the voice of the community. There were discussions of liquid giving in mid 2022 and what that could look like as a dynamic activity that's always where resources are always flowing. And I think over the past 2 years since the vision was born, I think we've kept this kind of like constellation of North Stars, or like constellation of inspirations and ideas alive. And we moved closer and closer to the point over time, over the 2 full years together, uh, where those inspirations became more and more possible and more likely. So um, for me, kind of as a co-creator in the technology space, I have I kind of remain focused and energized around this idea of the commons, and a commons that's orienting itself around multiple forms of wealth and value that it can give and receive and offer to others. Um, so um, yeah, this I guess this part of the infographic is really like the timeline and like the speaks to the capacity and participation in Vivero. Um, we have a little bit of kind of the life leading up to our first presentation to CoFund Eco in, I believe that was August of last year. Um, and overlaid on that, we have kind of these stages of the Vivero story. Its emergence in the Earth Regenerators community, the closure of the Earth Regenerators community, and it leads us all up to today, where kind of the app sits with its population, our recent fiscal sponsorship transition from Possible Planet to the Sustainable Futures Institute, where we formally introduced Eleanor Ostrom's commons management principles into the agreement that we're holding with our fiscal host. Um, and it leads us to today. And in the future is kind of open, and this possibility space that we explore. Toward the top, I have a bit of a timeline of the Vivero technology and some reflections that were collected by members of our community, both within the Vivero stewardship circle and within kind of the gift recipient reflections that were collected after the turtle giving round in summer of 2023. So the top lines here kind of speak to the aspirations of the now 2 stages of Vivero. What we're calling Vivero version 1 is where we are now and where we're kind of coming from, and inherent in the vision of Rachel, which is community-directed giving trust, supporting bioregional stewards. The app that was prototyped provides that functionality, and it allows the community to nominate and recognize potential beneficiaries that can receive funds in those giving rounds. And the reflection that was from the community was that technology is in the commons, and as a trust technology, the trusts are in the commons, and the values flow within the commons from a set of consent-based decision-making processes. So we leverage Loomio as this participatory space for surfacing opportunities and ideas and concerns. And Loomio provides this space for deliberation and dialogue and decision-making that allows us to move forward into kind of this vision that we see for Vivero. I think in 2023, our reflection, the community learning was that sourcing funding for giving rounds allowed us to learn and develop our own decision-making processes and deliberative processes. And the key insight was that we have many things to offer, and we have many things to care for and protect. So there are multiple flows of value that can exist and can be exchanged within Vivero. And it really brought to light this idea of an offers and needs market or exchange where we exist in the commons, and the commons is really oriented around the dynamic of reciprocity. So that leads us to some early conversations in 2024. I think the first time that the idea of the Vivero Commons was named was back in 2022, when we gave the first presentation for the technology. I think it's been fairly clear to me that the future of the technology can lead to this peer-to-peer system where we are peers to one another in the commons, but there are also collective structures, the trust that can be peers to each other as well, but really more at the collective level or the bioregional level. So there's this concept of Vivero Earth has emerged, and it really moves us from being a community-directed giving trust supporting local bioregional stewards to being a network of community-directed giving trusts supporting bioregional stewardship and emphasizing mutual aid, which is I liken to like orienting toward like basic needs. And I think it speaks to a more dynamic ecosystem, the Vivero Commons, where every bioregion can have its trust that fits into a network of bioregions, like bioregions exist on our living planet. And it's all for the commons and in the commons. And I think we've embraced a perspective and perceived an opportunity to actually form our own agreements that we hold with one another first, and then find legal structures that can adapt to those agreements we've made with the commitment to the commons. So the future looks like we'll be able to adapt legal structures to fit around Vivero, instead of being dependent on maybe legacy legal structures that normalize certain behaviors that might not be helpful in the perspective of the common.